Welcome to Kandidly Keoshia, where positivity meets real talk. I'm your host, Keoshia, here to share my unfiltered stories, life lessons, and a whole lot of laughs. Get ready for straight talk, real laughs, and no filters. It's like chatting with your best friend who knows just how to lift your spirits. So tune in now and let's keep it real together. Hey you guys, welcome back to another episode of Kandidly Keoshia. I'm your host, Keoshia Kennard, and I thank you so much for joining me for another episode of the podcast. So last time we talked about fixing our environment, whether it was the places, the people, or situations that we were in, and that was a good time. I really enjoyed talking about that topic. I think it resonated with a lot of you guys because fixing your environment is not something that a lot of people think about when things are going on in their life or they're having challenges. Sometimes just moving out of an environment, a physical place, a mental place, the people you surround yourself with, or staying in certain situations can make all the difference in making your life a little bit easier. But today, y'all, we are going to dive into something that's just as important. And I think it's really even more important than fixing your environment because this is something that can really block you from growth if you're not careful. And it's forgiveness. All right, you guys. So I know we are trying to dig deep in today's topic. But before we dig deep, you guys know I love to do an icebreaker. We got to keep it a little light before we dig deep into the trenches and get all, emotional and into things. So my icebreaker question of the day: what is your favorite book and why does it resonate with you? So for me, my favorite book is The Year of Yes by Shonda Rhimes. You guys, I don't really read nonfiction. I am very much a fiction person because I love to get out of reality when I read. I don't want to read about what's going on in the world, what happened in the world, what finna happen in the world. Like, I want to be in a fantasy land, somewhere that takes me from my reality and kind of gives me a break. But every now and then I will read a nonfiction book, and I've read a couple of books by celebrities when it comes to, their life stories and things like that. So I've read the Michelle Obama book. I've read the Gabrielle Union book. Somebody else's book, I can't remember. But Year of Yes was like the book that stood out to me. And one of the reasons why it resonated with me is the way it was written. People can write their life stories and you could tell they're just telling the story and it is what it is. I feel like when Shonda Rhimes wrote her life story, she told it in such a way like you're talking to your friend. Like it's me and her sitting on this couch having a conversation. I'm just meeting her and I'm like, tell me about your life. Tell me who you are. Tell me how you got through hard times. Tell me how you changed your life. Like, her book is written so well to the point you don't know you're reading a book. You feel like you're having a conversation with somebody. I love The Year of Yes. And it really opened my eyes to making a conscious decision to stop isolating yourself or stop saying no or stop being scared. And I kind of got from her book that, she said no to everything and she never goes anywhere. Her sister was like, you ain't finna do nothing. You ain't finna go nowhere. And, she was like, okay, you know what? I'm gonna prove everybody wrong. This year, I am going to say yes to any and everything. And that completely changed her life. You guys know she writing all kind of stories, movies, and all. I don't even know what the girl into. She almost into everything. And for me, it changed my life because I was a yes girl. Like, I always went above and beyond for people. Always said yes. Always went out of the way. I always put my plans aside to help others. And so for me, she helped me do my year of no. So I did the opposite of what she did. I didn't say yes. I said no, because I did a lot of things that I didn't want to do because I didn't want to make people feel bad. I didn't want people to think that I wasn't there for them and that kind of stuff. But I did it at the own expense of me not getting enough rest, not having fun, not being able to go anywhere, not even being able to enjoy my time or to replenish my energy. So that really resonated with me. And I was like, okay, if she's doing a year of yes, because she's always saying no and this and that other, and I feel like I say yes too much and I'm overwhelmed and I can't turn people down and I think that people are taking advantage of me, I'm going to start saying truly no to the things that I don't want to do, and to learn that no is a complete sentence. If you guys didn't know no is a complete sentence, it is. No, period. No, period. You ain't got to tell nobody why. You ain't got to explain yourself. Okay, no is a full sentence. That part. But that is my favorite book, and that is why it resonates with me. So let me know what is your favorite book, and give me a little spill, a little 1-2 sentence about why it resonates with you. Go ahead and use the hashtag Kandidly Keoshia, and we can start a conversation in the comments. All right, so we're continuing this journey from the first episode, of course, of me getting pregnant and dropping out of school, and talking about overcoming challenges, creating spaces for growth, and getting real with ourselves. But y'all, there's something else you got to handle if you want to keep on growing, and it's forgiveness. And let me tell you, forgiveness is not for the faint of heart. Forgiveness is one of the hardest things that people cannot do. Like, it's something emotionally that takes a lot of strength and mindset in order to forgive others and to forgive yourself, and not to hold grudges. And it's not something that just happens. It's a choice, a deliberate choice we have to make to free ourselves. So today we're going to get real about why forgiveness is a choice that can lead to freedom, healing, and some serious personal growth. All right, you guys, so let's be real. Holding on to anger doesn't really hurt the person you're mad at. It hurts you. At the end of the day, they're off living their lives, having a good time. They ain't even thinking about you. They ain't thinking about them hurting you. They ain't thinking about you being angry at them. None of that. They're living their best life, living it up, and you're over here stewing in your little thing. I'm mad at them. Duh, 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 duh. Like, they don't care. And it took me a really long time to realize that for people that I care about, I care if you're mad at me. I'm going to apologize. Even if I don't think I'm wrong, I will apologize for how I made you feel. I'm not necessarily going to apologize for what I said, because most of the time I say what I said. But if it hurt your feeling, if it made you feel the type of way, I'm going to apologize, because that's the type of respect that I have for you. But others don't have that respect. Like, if they make you mad and they feel like they was right, they don't care. They ain't apologize. They don't care nothing about it. And at the end of the day, like I said, when you're angry, that anger only hurts you. It don't hurt them. They ain't thinking about you. So I remember, when people told me I was be a statistic and I would never be anybody and I wouldn't make it anywhere because I got pregnant at 19 and I dropped out of college, I was angry. I let that eat at me for a while, y'all. I let that eat at me for years. Like, I was so mad at people, but instead of voicing my anger, instead of having a conversation about it, I chose to hold it in. I still interacted with these people when I needed them. I interacted with some of these people on a daily basis, and some people every now and then. But at the end of the day, that anger ate away at me. They, like I said, they was living their best lives. They was having a really good time. And I'm out here looking stupid and angry. Like, to be honest, a lot of time when you're angry like that, when you're upset like that, you're the only one out here looking angry. I'm the type of person who now, previously I wasn't this type of person. I was, the type of person who get angry and then, we call it quits and then we cool. But back then I just was really, really angry and really mad just about the situation. And I was even angry at myself for not finishing college the way that I planned, and for not having everything together, for not making the right choices, and not, doing what I planned to do, and making just horrible decisions and not being responsible. Whether they called me a statistic, whether they said I wasn't going to make it, whether they said I was never going to finish college, all of that was as a result of the bad choice that I made. So I really couldn't be angry at them for saying those things about me, because I was the one who ultimately made the choice that showed them that this is possibly who I could be. Now, in the day, everything is possible. Nothing's ever 100% in stone. Nobody can ever tell you who you are. Nobody can ever tell you what you're going to be just because of a mistake you made in life. 1 mistake, 2 mistakes, 700 mistakes. You are still ultimately the curator of your life. But the anger that you feel for people doubting you, or saying something about the decisions that you make, ultimately they're doing that because this is the decision that you made that ultimately led to the situation that you're in. And everybody's entitled to their opinion, unfortunately. And yes, a lot of people's opinions make you mad and angry because they don't know how to say it correctly. They don't present it well, and they're not really encouraging when they come with their opinions. It's very rare that you get somebody who comes who's very encouraging with their opinions. But here's the thing, you guys. I had to make a choice to forgive these people. And not because they deserve it, but because I deserve the peace, right? I deserve the peace to forgive them and to forgive myself. Because once again, you are always part of that forgiveness. What a lot of people forget is while you're forgiving everybody else, make sure you forgive yourself as well. Make sure you give yourself the benefit of the doubt. Make sure you give yourself, oh, they did the best they could. Make sure you give yourself, oh, they just stumbled a little bit and they'll be able to go back and get back on the right track, in a 1 month, 2 month, a year, whatever the case may be. So just remember, while you're making the choice to forgive, include yourself in that choice. Include yourself in that apology. Include yourself in that forgiveness. Not because you deserve it, maybe you do, maybe you don't, maybe they do, maybe they don't, but it's because you need the peace. That anger, that madness, that grudge holding will weigh you down like a ton of bricks. Like a ton of bricks. And that anger eventually turns into bitterness. It eventually turns into negativity. It eventually turns into pushing people away. Because if you ever notice when you don't like somebody or when you're angry at them, your sentences are short. How you interact with them is strained, or there's tension there. If you let that anger go, none of that will be there. And not to say this is something that's going to happen overnight, depending on what the person did, how angry you are at them, how long you've held the grudge. It could take, months or years to get back into that regular routine of interaction without tension or snark remarks or, snappy, snappy responses. And the funny thing is, me sitting here today, I can literally think of people that I do with that at this moment in my life today while I'm recording this podcast. And it has to do with some suppressed anger that I have that has not either been addressed by me or addressed by them. Now, it's not weighing me down because it's not like a lot of anger. It's not anything I can remember or anything like that, but it's just certain little things that you ask for and, they won't address it. So at the end of the day, some of that anger is something that, like I said, you have to forgive and let go. But if it's a constant thing that pokes at you or constant things that they do, even when you asked them not to or said something about it or addressed it, if they don't ever address it, it still continues to live in you as anger. Even though you've forgiven them, it still sits in you because you know that this is how they've either reacted or chose not to react to what you have said or, told them to do. Or asked them to do, or brought to their attention. We all know there's the people who make you angry and you tell them why you're angry and then they still do it anyway. Now that's definitely something hard to forgive right there. You're like, okay, I'm telling you what you're doing is making me angry, but you still do it anyway. I'm still honestly working on that type of forgiveness. I ain't learned to forgive people who keep continually doing stuff you ask them not to do. Like, that's beyond me. Like, that's God. I can't do that. Jesus Christ can do it. God can do it. I ain't got that far yet. I ain't got that high yet. I ain't that humble. Like, I'm still going to get mad every single time. Not to say that I'll be stewing on it or I'm going to be mad about it, until the next time I see you. But in that moment, I'm going to be mad. I'm going to be upset and I'm going to have anger. Because it's like poking the hornet's nest. I'm telling you this and you're still doing it. But forgiveness, unfortunately, is a repeat thing. Like, sometimes you have to forgive people a lot. Over and over and over again. As annoying as it is, as much as you don't want to, remember, it's not for them. Nobody said they deserved it. It's for you and your peace. Because we know a lot of these little fucking people don't deserve a damn forgiveness. Okay? But we got to give it to them anyway. Why? So we can be better people, so we can grow and become better versions of ourselves. And so that we can have peace and rest our head at night and have fun and think about other things besides how people pissed us off today or yesterday or 2 years ago or 5 minutes ago. You know what I'm saying? And I had to forgive myself also for making the mistake I made, for the detours I took, and for not having it all figured out. And that was really hard for me. I'm definitely hard on myself than anybody else is. The funny thing about it is when I say the people made me bad for doubting me or saying that I was going to be a statistic or I wasn't going to ever graduate from college, those are things I had already told myself. Those are things that I had already looked up. Those are things that I had already researched when I found I was pregnant before I even told anybody. I am definitely, y'all, a planner, okay? If I ain't shit else, I'm a damn planner. Okay, when something I don't know nothing, when I don't know how it's gonna go, if I don't know what the statistic is, what's the the probability, I am going to Google. Google is your friend. Okay, Google. I'm going to Google. So the fact that I thought it first, I knew that this was a possibility first, I guess it just made me angry that they also thought about it, which is so, in hindsight, is stupid, because you thought about it, you knew they were going to thought about it. So why are you mad at them and you weren't mad at yourself? But I was mad at myself. And see, this is how I talk to myself in real life. But seriously though, like, sometimes when you're thinking something, you shouldn't be surprised that other people are going to think it too, especially if you the first one thought about it. Especially if you got pregnant and now you're Googling, am I ever going to graduate from college? Can I graduate from college? What happens when you get pregnant at a young age? Do they ever succeed? Like, there's a lot of stuff you can Google about getting pregnant at a young age and whether you're going to succeed or not. There's some good stories and there's some bad stories. And there's some mediocre in-between stories. I feel like I'm an in-between story. I feel like I'm not the worst I can be, but I feel like I'm not the best off I can be. I feel like I'm like right down the middle. Like, I probably could have did a little bit more in my life, been a little bit more, had a little bit more, had I did everything in the right order it should have been done. But I can't dwell on that. I can't stew on that. I can't be angry about that. What I have to do is forgive myself for the detour I took, for the mistakes I made, for my bad choices, and I have to move forward and figure it out. And a lot of people don't like to forgive because they feel like they're letting the people off the hook, like they're letting them get away with stuff. But that's not always the case. It's about you deciding that you're not going to let that hurt or anger control your life. Because like I said, at the end of the day, you're so mad, you're wondering why are they having a good time? Why are they not upset? Because I'm upset. Nobody's ever upset because you're upset. Nobody's ever angry because you're angry. That's the choice you made. You chose to keep on being angry beyond that moment they made you angry. You chose how long you were going to be angry at that person. You have to choose to let it go so you can move forward. And that is why forgiveness is crucial to growth. When you hold on to the grudge, it's like carrying around a backpack full of bricks. Dead freaking weight. Baggage like a mug. And every time you refuse to forgive, you're adding another brick to that load. Another luggage to the baggage. And that's a lot of weight. It slows you down and it stops you from growing. And guess what? The person you mad at probably isn't even thinking about you. Just like I said, they're not thinking about you. They ain't thought another minute about the situation. In the heat of the moment, they thought about it. But the moment they left you and went on about their way, they ain't thought another bit about it. They ain't thinking about it. How many times have you gone to somebody and say, hey, the other day you made me mad because this. And they be like, I don't even know what you're talking about. Proof in the pudding right there. Them folks ain't thought about that. They don't care. They don't give a damn. And you still walking around here talking, I'm mad at such and such because he did this. He don't care. He living his best life while you over here mad. Forgiveness is about freeing yourself and not excusing what happens. Okay? You're not giving them a free pass. You're not getting them off the hook. You're not giving them an excuse about what happened. You're just freeing yourself from the weight, the brick, the baggage of being angry. Because at the end of the day, you being angry is your choice, not theirs. If you continue to be angry for years and months and hours and days or whatever from here on out, Once you leave that conversation, you've made them known that you're angry and you would like apology and they don't want to give you one, or they don't care, or whatever the case may be. When you leave that situation and you walk on down that street or go home or drive your car, you are choosing to continue to be angry. You made the choice to be miserable from that day forward because you're the one who's angry. You can stop being angry anytime you want to. And that's what a lot of people don't understand. They think they have to stand firm in their anger and being mad at somebody until this, that, and the other, until kingdom come. No, you don't. Because they not thinking about you. They out living their best life and you sitting on the couch being angry. And calling everybody you can about what somebody did and how they did it and when they did it and what had happened. They don't care. The person you call don't care either. They be like, oh, really? Because when they get off the phone with you, guess what? They ain't thought another thought about it. And I'm guilty of it too, y'all. I'm guilty of being mad at somebody and calling around and telling everybody what had happened. And guess what? They be like, so fucking what? Like, they be like, oh, okay. And then like, okay, girl, I gotta go. And then they ain't thought nothing else about it when they hung their phone up with you. They listen to you vent and do whatever. And then they went on about their business. Because you know what they know that you don't know is that anger brings baggage. Bricks. Ton of bricks. A lot of weight. Just makes your life miserable. Get rid of it. Get rid of it. And to this day, I don't really hold grudges anymore. I'll think about situations and I'll get sad and I'll get upset because they didn't go the way I wanted to. But I never just have a full-blown anger about it. I never just be really, really mad about it. So what is the whole point of this? What's the whole point of forgiveness? What I learned is that forgiving others and forgiving myself was the only way to release the negativity that anger brings to your life. You can't grow when you're stuck in anger, guilt, regret, and bitterness. And trust me, I am my own harshest critic, and you probably are too, right? Like I said, I definitely am more hard on myself than anybody else in this whole wide world. I'm hard on myself. I'm mad at myself before anybody else is. But sometimes the hardest person to forgive is yourself. But to truly grow, you have to let it go. You have to let that anger go. You have to let that guilt go. You have to let that regret go. Because it's already happened. It's over and done. You need to learn how to let it go and move forward. All right. So one of the quotes that I remember just off the top of my head, and I hope I'm saying it right because, baby, at the end of the day, I be paraphrasing. So it is what it is. I think it was something like, forgiveness doesn't excuse the person's behavior. Forgiveness prevents the behavior from destroying your heart, from destroying your mind, your spirit, your peace. You're not excusing the hurt. You're just choosing your peace over the pain. And have you ever heard, I mean, it's really something, there's so many different quotes about forgiveness and why it needs to be done. Forgiveness isn't for you. Forgiveness is for them. I know that's a quote, a paraphrasing or whatever. It's definitely something that is for you and not for the other person. And a lot of people just won't take that advice when you give it to them. I was one of them. But when I finally learned how to do it and I realized how it made me feel, how my outlook on life, how my negativity, how my thought process changed when I forgave others and I forgave myself and I let that anger go, baby, you can't tell me nothing. I ain't finna be angry more than 5 minutes. I'm gonna be angry, yell at you, and then I'm gonna go about my way. Or if you're angry at me and yell at me, then we gonna apologize and we're gonna go about our way. Because what we not finna do is finna be ruin my peace. Like, peace is my number one goal in life. And the more peace I can have, the better I feel. And forgiving people and letting things go, I have found is the number one thing that could get you to peace really quickly. Besides, fixing your environment and overcoming challenges and just doing all the things. Forgiveness is the number one thing that will destroy your peace if you don't forgive somebody. If you continue to stay angry, if you continue to be upset, if you continue to hold grudges, you ain't gonna have no peace. I'm just here to tell you, you ain't gonna have none. Not a one. Let it go. Go, 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 go. Like Frozen. Let it go. I can't sing, so I ain't gonna try. But seriously, let it go, you guys. If you're sitting here and you're holding on something, whether it's angry at someone else or guilt for your own mistakes, I'm telling you, it's time to let it go. Not for them, but for you. Forgiveness is like cleaning out your emotional closet. You get to clear out the old baggage and make room for growth. So here's what I want you to do. You know, I love to give you little practical tips, little homework or whatever. Okay, I like to give you some. So today's homework, today's thought process, so today's practical tip is to think about someone you need to forgive or something you need to forgive for your own self. Write it down and get it out of your head onto paper. Then make the decision to forgive yourself. Make the decision to let it go. It won't be instant, but every time that anger or guilt comes up, remind yourself that you've made a choice to let it go. Because like I said, to this day, I've forgiven people, but sometimes that anger and that hurt comes back up in certain situations, and I have to remember you've already forgiven them. You'd have no right to be angry. You have no right to be upset because you told this person or you told yourself that you were no longer going to let this anger or this situation at that point take away your peace. And baby, I get right real quick. I'm like, girl, didn't you say you were going to forgive her for that? So why you still tripping? Because at the end of the day, if you say you forgive somebody and you're still holding on to that anger, and you're still holding that grudge, and you're still holding on to that, bitterness and negativity, you are the problem, not that person. Because what you're doing is failing to uphold the forgiveness that you have gave to a person. You're reneging on what you told them you would do. And yourself. So for me, the moment came when I decided to forgive the people who doubted me and let go of the anger I had toward myself. It wasn't easy, but every time I felt the resentment bubbling up, I remind myself that I deserve peace, not the pain. So when I was going to class and I was like, dang, I got to go to class and I got to go to work today. And then I got to buy baby formula and all this kind of stuff. I would get mad again and be like, you should have did it. And then I had to remember, okay, Keoshia, it is said and it is done. You can't keep beating yourself up. You can't keep having this resentment against yourself. You can't keep having this anger. He's here now. This is the choice you made. These are the steps you're going to take to get to the other side, to follow the path and get to the destination that you ultimately want to get to. So stop it. Stop with the resentment. Stop with the negativity. Stop with the anger. All right, you guys. So, I can be long-winded and I can talk all day about this clearly. I clearly have so many examples of where I was angry and had to decide to forgive, whether somebody apologized or not, or whether it was for my own mistake or whatever the case may be. But we've unpacked a lot of ideas on how forgiveness is a choice and a decision you can make, not for them, but for you. Forgiveness always allows you to let go of the weight that's been holding you down so you can keep growing and moving forward. So if this episode resonated with you, do me a favor and subscribe and rate and review the podcast. I'd love to hear your stories. How are you choosing forgiveness in life? Hit me up on social media using the hashtag Kandidly Keoshia, and let's keep the conversation going. So next time on Kandidly Keoshia, you guys, we're going to dive into something I know a lot of you have been waiting for, and it's work on yourself. You can't grow if you're not putting in the work. We're going to talk about how that looks and how you can get started. You won't want to miss next week's episode. Thanks so much for tuning in for Kandidly Keoshia. Remember, forgiveness is a choice, one that leads to freedom, peace, and real growth. Keep it real, keep laughing, and most importantly, keep growing. See y'all in the next episode.